Welcome to Godot 4 C# tutorial number 11, Non-Positional Audio System for 2D Games. For the 2D games that I make, it makes the most sense to me to have an audio system that is non-positional. What this means is that the sound source is only in one place, and the volume of the sound emitted from that source is the same throughout the entire game. This works well for my purposes. If you feel the need to do positional audio in 2D, or especially important in 3D, you'll need to utilize a different system. However, a lot of code will be similar, but you will need to do extra work to get positional audio set up in your project. The node AudioStreamPlayer plays non-positional audio and does not require an AudioListener node. In this project, the following has been created as an automatically loaded scene. Scene Snd, PFB, and script, Snd.cs, Sound Manager. This will be a very short name as I prefer to keep it short because it will be called frequently. Instance will be just inst for the singleton for the script to further make the call shorter. The following will be in the Sound Manager. One AudioStreamPlayer for music, one for voice, one for the male voice, one for the female voice, and 15 sound effects AudioStreamPlayers. So this will allow us to play up to 15 sound effects simultaneously, and that should cover the system. So let's come on over and check out the new prefab. It is going to be in the menus folder for now, just called sound sources pfb.tscn. And in it, it has all of the audio stream players in it. It's a Node 2D and just a bunch of audio stream players. If you want to create your own, you can create it as a child node and just search for audio. And there it is, AudioStreamPlayer. If you want to do the positional audio, you can do AudioStreamPlayer 2D, but then you must have an AudioListener 2D somewhere in your scene. Same thing for 3D. Now each AudioStreamPlayer is minimally set up. Music is just set to the music bus. Voice is set up to the voice bus. Male, this one's actually wrong. Let's go ahead and fix it. This one's going to the male bus. And female needs to go to the female bus. And AudioStreamPlayer for sound effects, all of them are going to the sound effects bus. So there's that. And the sound sources PFB will be part of our autoload. So you go to project settings, go autoload, and this will be just about the last item that I'm going to be adding to this menu system. It's going to give you an excellent start for your projects and just be something that when you create a new project, you're just going to take this stuff and drop it into your project and you'll have a great starting point. So let's go ahead and take a look at the script. So all of the audio stream players have been exported, so they don't need to be set up on ready. So if we come over to Godot and click on the sound sources, you'll see them all here. Music, voice, male, female, and then 15 sound effects players. It keeps track if the voice is playing, and it keeps track of the current music playing. And the calls are very simple. It's public void play music, stop music, play voice, play male, play female, and play sound effects. And for an example of implementation, come back into Godot, I've also created a required components prefab that is going to be added manually to each scene. So if we look at required components, right now it's only got one thing. I'm going to add more to it as I work on my game, and you could do the same thing too. Right now it just has the auto-load music, which is just a node to hold the script, autoloadmusic.cs. Autoloadmusic.cs on ready will change your music, and it'll take in the scene file path and it will iterate through each music in the music dictionary. So there is a music dictionary that I set up. So if you open that up, music dictionary, it has the paths to each of the scenes, and it has a path to each of the songs. And I'll include these songs in the project so you can see the project working, and you'll have examples so that you can adjust this to what you need in your game. I use the Kevin MacLeod music because it is Creative Commons, and I am distributing it for educational purposes. Let's go on back to the auto load music. In auto load music, so it'll look through each item in the music dictionary, and if the item that you're looking for is if the two scene paths match, then it will go ahead and play the music, sending the music value that is in the dictionary. And also I put in a debugging step to say auto load music, telling you which scene you're on, and it's going to play whatever music that you're playing. Now, if you go ahead and look at play music, you'll see that if you tell it to play a song that is the same as last time, it'll return out of this. So you don't have to worry about if you keep on calling it over and over and over again every single time you change. Every single time you change scenes, you don't have to worry about it, because it will make sure that it doesn't restart a song that is already currently running. It'll only run new songs. So I know that I went over that rather quickly, but the code in this is not really building up anything extremely new compared to what I've shown in previous tutorials. So this is just to give an overview of what's new in tutorial 11, and you can grab it for yourself and start putting it into your games. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.